What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
And if you can't tell,
Today is
X-Men
X-Men,
97.
and we're gonna do what today?
We're talking about X-Men 97.
You got it.
Because,
oh man,
it was off the chain, and we're in Scott Summers' Cyclops redemption arc as a favorite superhero. And let me tell you, Rico, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
complete underrated character. And you know what? This cast, this crew, these creators of the X-Men, they're completely rebirthing, revamping, as you were saying, not just the X-Men, but Scott Summers' Cyclops. By the way, R.I.P. to the original voice actor to Scott Summers' Cyclops. We got a new actor, a new voice actor, but he's killing it. He's doing a good job. Way to stay to the original voice and is not too off course. Loving it.
Yeah, which brings up a good point. I didn't even realize that voice actor was up. I know a lot of voice actors came back, but to realize that, I didn't realize that the voice actor for Scott Summers' Cyclops was R.I.P. Because it sounds almost the same.
Yeah.
Like the visual, the drawing, I love the fact that it's pretty much the same show, a continuation of the show, but it's a more cleaned up, it's a crisper version.
Tell me about it. Yes, it is.
It is super crisp, super clean. The only thing off-putting about the show is Magneto's coloring, the shading he did. Maybe I think they did it for to show age.
I think they did it to make him untrustworthy.
Is that what it is?
You want to trust him, but you know you shouldn't
Because he's kind of shady.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of shady, right? And it's I feel as though he is a good guy, but at the end of the day, it's there's a dark side to him.
Well, like they say, every bad person or bad villain is a good person in their story.
Yes.
So
a villain is a hero in their own story. Something like that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or live long enough to become a villain in your own story.
I think that is the pure definition of Magneto.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, the opening, super crisp. I love it. They have pretty much the same tone for the song. The beat is a little off. I think it's a little more heavier on the bass on there. So the bass is a little bit off. But the whole intro is pretty much scene for scene from the original. So you feel again, you're jumping right back in, was it 20 years ago or something like that?
Yeah.
Give or take a few, carry a number somewhere.
1996 was the last episode.
Yep. So, 96. So, because 97 would have been the continuation. It would have been the next year for season 6 of the episode because they ran 5 seasons. So, but they added in 2 new characters. They added in Morph, which is, really, they didn't really add him in.
They just brought him back.
They brought him back because he was in the original one. So, they added him into the title screen. And they added in Bishop, which was... our future jumper. Yeah,
Bishop in the original run, he was just cameo in and out.
Yep.
But it's awesome that they brought him back as one of the but one of the members of the X-Men from the comic books, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, and the only difference is the lead for the characters, how they were based or how they brought in. So if you look at from the original to the new one, the order, how they have the heroes. It's a little off. They start off again still with Cyclops, and then it goes. The original one was Wolverine. The new one's Jean Grey. I want to say they changed the order as far as how they're going to be highlighted in the show.
Yeah.
Because right now, episode 1 and 2 is really based around Cyclops and Jean Grey. Jean Grey being pregnant. Spoiler alert! You're going to see a lot of. Spoilers.
Are we spoiling this whole? Is this episode? Is this episode a spoiler alert? It's been about a week since it came out.
Yeah. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, because I'm just gonna be diarrhea of the mouth over here. I'm just gonna talk about it because I'm just so hyped for it. I'm super excited about it.
Yes.
We'll try to avoid some spoilers. So maybe we'll put it in the text later on.
Okay.
Jump ahead, right? So. The Jean Grey's pregnant in this one. Jean Grey's pregnant, and then the big spoiler or the big bomb is at the end of episode 2.
Yes,
which we'll get to. I think Rico's going to touch on that one. But the whole pretty much scene for scene in the beginning is there's a change also in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, right?
Yeah.
They change out Tomahawk and I think Toad. I forget who it was. Oh, Emma Frost.
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost. So yeah, they changed those two characters. Everyone else in the lineup. Oh, and they also changed. They added the Sentinels in the middle where when they're running to each other.
Yeah, they did.
The Sentinels are in there, but pretty much everything else is scene for scene. And also, Storm now has a mohawk, so you have her mohawk in the new show. Also, R.I.P. for her powers. If you haven't, spoiler alert.
I also wanted to talk about that part.
Yeah.
But since you brought up the Sentinels, I don't. They didn't debut Nimrod, but they did. I can't remember his name. It was like Master something.
Master Mold.
Yes, Master Mold was in the show.
Yes.
And I thought that was really cool. I forgot he even existed until I saw him sitting down. I'm like, yo, I know that character from someone.
Yeah.
I feel like throughout.
Fun fact: there's
What's
not
up?
one Master Mold. There's several Master Molds.
Yeah?
Yeah. In the comics. In the comics, there are several Master Molds scattered throughout different areas. There was actually a Master Mold closer to the sun, I want to say.
Yeah.
Guys, let me know in the comments if that's correct or not. But somewhere there's where they go out and because in the comics, if you're up to date on the X-Men comics, Cyclops and a whole bunch of other people, which actually isn't Cyclops, they wind up blowing up the Master Mold and someone else in there who's created the Master Mold and the old Sentinel and stuff like that. And there's someone because Cyclops is on trial, but we're getting further away from the show. Keep it back. But yes, there are several Master Molds in the show. They only show the one. Yes, but if you go back to the comics, there are several Master Molds scattered throughout Earth and space and time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, so Master Mold is back. That's pretty cool.
That
and,
is cool.
And he also got wrecked.
Did he?
He
ever?
got wrecked.
Did he ever? He was like, I don't even know why they decided to do that. They just needed something big to beat up. I think that's the why.
Yeah, something to punch.
Something to explode.
And to show that combo power between Wolverine and Gambit,
Right?
which brings up a point I want to make. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't his whole body just explode? Why is his wouldn't the powers just how does the powers just stop at his fist? Wouldn't that radiate?
I have two different scenarios with that. One, this is going off topic a bit, but I did some research. Gambit is potentially an Omega level mutant.
Oh, I'm done with these Omega. Everybody's on Omega level.
And he decided when he was, I want to say, doing something with Sinister to take that part of his memory out, which dampened his powers. So that's how he's able to charge up, but he's also able to just charge up atoms in the air.
Oh.
He can basically blow the planet up, which is the polar opposite of what Magneto can do. He can crack the planet in half. But I also remember in the earlier issues of X-Men comics, Wolverine was able to use his anti-animal skeleton as a conductor. So he was able to get not just razor sharp claws, but he was able to get really hot claws. And because there was one
comic he has heat claws.
Yeah, he was able to crack through ice and metal,
Sure.
and so he's able to control where that heat disputes, I guess. Disperses. Thank you. And so that I guess that kind of answers that question in a nutshell. But other than that, comic writers write comics,
Right.
And it's whatever they want to do.
Exactly. So, but as far as like the opening and going into the show, I'm super hyped, and then we go into the beginning scenes with Cyclops and how he controls his powers. Rico, I know you're mad hyped for this. I am here for it. Rico, let's go into it. What happened with Cyclops? Break it down for us.
First, he used his laser beam to dodge attacks.
Which
he
actually
used it to move around.
Yes.
What? Never seen him do that. He didn't do that ever. He's never done that in any kind of
comic book or video game.
Comic book, not even in the original X-Men show. Never done it.
Nope.
Not to mention, he used. I love the fact that the creators took a good homage to Marvel vs. Capcom with his fighting style, with the whole elbow.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on.
Oh, good.
What?
That's a great point. I totally
That's
missed that.
amazing. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But
I think my favorite scene was, besides when he's moving, was when they're coming out of the plane and they're like,
What?
Where's he's flying on his back. They're all flying down, and Rogue's like, "Oh, no, Dave, catching X-Men."
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, okay, this is a regular occurrence of catching X-Men flying from the flying out of the sky. But then you have Cyclops. He's like, all right, everybody's good.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it. He nosedives. No, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I'm like, is he gonna freaking pull a parachute out of his butt cheeks?
No.
Nope. Optic blast.
Boom.
Boom into the ground.
Screamed it on the way down. Ah, that was awesome.
And then lowered himself, and then he gets up and he's like, "To me, my X-Men."
To
I was
me.
like, "Whoo!"
But not. Well, let's go before that. When the Sentinel originally grabbed him right out of the cockpit.
Yeah.
He just went crazy and started blasting everywhere. I think he cut the top of the Sentinel's head off and then his arm. But it was really cool to show his leadership by he made sure everybody was in check.
safe, yeah.
Before he decided to care about himself.
Yeah, sure.
And it shows that, no one, his I guess you say the X-Men, they always give him a hard time because he's a hard ass or he's over the top. He's almost like a Captain America, like no cursing.
Yeah.
But then again, he may be a stern leader, but he makes sure everybody is okay before he thinks about himself.
Well, that's the mark of a real leader. You check on your team, your support team, your family, basically, because X-Men is basically at the core of it. They're a family.
Yeah.
They all live under one roof and everything, and at the core of the X-Men themselves, the show, the comics, whatever, it's always been about them living together or trying to live through life and not, be persecuted.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people talked about this, going into the show. They're going to be like, oh, how are they going to twist this? The woke media, da-da-da. It's total nonsense. Like, they don't go into any, like, wokeness or anything like that. They don't talk about, like, someone was talking about, like, I think I heard it before, like, there's transgenderness or, like, whatever. Like, the only trans thing they use is, like, morph. But that's just power. It's like Mystique. No one complained about Mystique changing
Anybody, right?
No, so, but the whole show is amazing. It's gangbusters from start to end. And then we get into Magneto, who is a hoss.
Oh my
A
goodness.
total beast.
But before we really dive into Magneto, I want to talk about there's like three different comic books in this one episode. You have the first appearance of Mutant Hunter. Mm-hmm. Also, you have when Storm lost her powers, which, and then we have the part where in the comic books they do show Magneto talking to these people at these governments.
The trial of Magneto.
Yeah. Exactly. Trial of Magneto.
Yeah.
And man, like usually when people monologue, it's like, come on, wrap it up. No, this guy, wow, you talking about putting chills. Hearing him speak was like, he means business. Yeah. And you felt every word he said. Like if he wanted to, he would crush you and the world. But he doesn't feel like doing that today.
Yeah. Well, to honor, Charles's dying wish to, be better, and he came around.
Wow.
It's like, geez.
Yeah. I think it's really cool when writers do that. Like I think I've said it before. When a writer can make you root for the villain, that's good storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to be getting in this upcoming series of X-Men, which I believe is a 10-part series.
Yeah.
Season.
Yes, because I remember it was supposed to be the longest running series or season for Disney right now, because all the Disney shows that are coming out, Disney Plus shows, are like 6 episodes. So now that I think 9 or 10 episodes for X-Men, which also it's only half an hour. So, but it's animated, so give or take, whatever.
So what do you think about his House of M?
Yes.
You like that suit, or do you miss his original suit?
Well, you can't mess with the OG suit, but then again, you see it. He comes back later on. You'll see like trailers for the show, which, by the way, there's a longer version of the intro, and I think you'll probably premiere it for episode 3, where he's in the beginning of the episode, and he's like, as part of the X-Men, where they show off like the different, like Cyclops, Wolverine. He's the first one. He shows up and he's like using his mutant powers, obviously, and then but because now he's part of the X-Men, because he's at the end, we'll maybe dive into that in a second.
You're right.
But again, aside from trying not to spoil so much, but he's in there. So as far as the suit goes, it's kind of like leotardish, but
Yeah.
who isn't leotardish?
Right.
And the whole everyone's like wearing
Like where
spandex
where is Cyclops' zipper? Where's Rogue's zipper?
in the back.
Do they just kind of, is it like the Spider-Man suit where he just hits that and it gets tight?
I'll tell you when I do the cosplay.
Oh my goodness. But Storm. One
Yeah.
thing I want to talk about with Storm. Storm in the comic books, she lost her powers, and there's a I guess you say uneven balance in the X-Men, and in the comic books, Storm takes over X-Men by fighting Cyclops with no powers, and I feel like that's where it's coming, and I don't remember how she got her powers back, but she had to revert back to a kid to obtain her powers all over again in the comic books when she lost her powers. But like I said, I'm not sure if they're going to do that. And it's unfortunate that she loses her powers now. And I feel like in the movies and transitioning to this show, they always give Storm the short end of the stick. She's always the most powerful X-Men or the most powerful being. She's always the one that takes charge, but then all of a sudden she gets shorthanded.
That or my boy Spider-Man.
Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of which, with Storm and Cyclops in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, they are going to bring back the original, Fox X-Men Cyclops. They're going to bring him back. He has already been on set and showed in the suit, which looks like the original the original X-Men suit. From the comics, the one from the animated show,
the blue and yellow.
Yeah, with it looks really good, and they're also bringing back Halle Berry which is a fact.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but they have not shown her in costume, so she might be in the white suit with the long mohawk hair or the big poofy white hair. Who knows?
I like the mohawk, like in X-Men First Class. When
Yeah.
you see the Storm in there.
That was a cool addition.
Yeah.
Other than that, like you were saying at the ending, we got Jean Grey being pregnant.
Yes, and then not pregnant, and then we find out not Jean Grey.
No, what's her name?
Madeline Pryor?
Yes, which is associated with Sinister.
Yes, which actually brings back to the beginning. Sorry, busting in the beginning. You have Morph, who was taken or revitalized by Mrs. Sinister. He's also battling in I guess, a dream sequence, whatever sequence. He's battling Mrs. Sinister, which brings forward to Madeline Pryor, who clones Jean Grey. We'd have to go back, and I think we have to rewatch all of X-Men so I can find out which episode that was, where he captures Jean Grey and clones her, and the Jean Grey we see in episode 1 and 2 is the clone Madeline Pryor. Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder if comic book sales are going to go up because of the first appearance of Madeline Pryor. She's what? The Green Goblin? No, sorry. She's Goblin Queen, and she's also the Red Queen, which you saw in the last volume of Amazing Spider-Man. So, who knows? And then Magneto and Rogue.
Yeah, well, they have a long history.
Yeah, they do.
And the reason why he can actually touch it because he uses a magnetic field to protect himself. So.
I never thought that through. You're right.
Yeah. So
wow.
And then Gambit's all butthurt. And he's like, oh,
yeah,
mon chéri. And he drops the Queen's card.
Yes, he did. Oh my goodness.
He's like,
And I like how they kept it like almost like a soap opera-ish.
Well, yeah, again, because it's a family dynamic.
Yeah.
It's going back and forth, and because like myself, everyone, like most people, have family issues. That's what it is. At the end of the day, again, it's family issues within themselves, and then they just happen to have powers who happen to trying to defend other mutant kind. To say, well, I have powers, and I can, help other mutant kind against being persecuted. So, it's a family dynamics who are just trying to, make the world a safer place.
Yeah. So X-Men. What days of the week is this coming out? Is it Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Around what time? Midnight? So it'd be that morning?
So it'll probably be that morning. So it's too bad it's not Saturday morning.
Oh, that would have been so dope. If it was. Oh man, that would have been so cool. That would have been so cool.
Get up Saturday morning cartoons again.
Right? But hey, Hey. Wednesdays. I can do Wednesdays.
Yeah, we get it. We got another 8 more episodes.
Yeah.
coming out. So 8
So-
more weeks.
Got something to look forward to this Hump Day. At least
Yeah.
something to look forward to on Hump Day, right?
Yeah, I have not seen anything going into the trailer, so just like Saturday morning cartoons, you
Just wait.
wait till next week.
Yep.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait till Wednesday, and then we'll talk about this next week on Popping
Popping
Through
through
Culture.
culture.
Until next time, guys.
Peace out.
Later.